1 tonic for trace detection, and 1 edible dark mark. Let's see how far we can get into this event. I'm Professor Voqas, and this is Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Hello, Professor. I didn't see you there.
As I've said before, Tuesdays are a bad day for me for events to start. So this event started on Tuesday, but my earlier day is always free, but after 2 o'clock I just end up getting a lot busier and that type of thing. So we are starting the event today, right now. I just opened up the game. And we are going to see how far we can get, because I do still have all day tomorrow to do this event, and I want to see how far can we get just using 1 tonic for trace detection and 1 edible dark mark. Like, how far can that even get us in the event? I have no preconceived notions that it's going to allow me to finish the event, but really it's just how far can we get, and then how many more do we think we would need to use. Granted, I'm only 1 data point in a set that would need to be a lot larger, but we're going to see how much I get today. Harry, you look dreadful. Thanks, Constance. Glad to know I look as bad as I feel. Sorry, didn't mean that like it sounded. I just worried is all. Grappling with how to respond to the Unforgivable's ominous ultimatum while simultaneously combating a new influx of adversary activity is a lot for one person to handle. I just wish I could sleep, but every time I close my eyes, I'm bombarded with flashbacks of Narcissa Malfoy encouraging Draco to identify Ron, Hermione, and me in front of Bellatrix, Greyback, and Greyback's Snatchers. How horrid. We have to put an end to this, both this specific search and adversaries in general, before the Unforgivable's influence gets any stronger. Because if their goal truly is to bring back the Death Eaters, well, they seem to be getting closer. Unfortunately, we know we're probably not going to put an end to this because the lethal adversaries are coming out. So, heading over to the special assignments. I haven't started anything, you can see right here. You need to use those master notes. I'll get onto that. That's not really what today's about. The leprechauns, hoping to see some of those, of course. First chamber 4 or higher. I'll do that on the night bus, probably off video at this point. And then, oh, the next one, I did want to mention this, is if you see this today, you'll still have tomorrow to do all this. Use 10 of any extimulo potions. It does say that very generically, but it is specific. You have to use them in adversary chains. Which, if you watch my guide, I said I'll be using all 10 in adversary chains against Narcissa. So for me, that really doesn't change anything, and I probably wouldn't have noticed anything was weird about that because I would just use the extimulos then. But people had been using them against some foundables, or they had used them maybe in some fortresses, and they noticed it wasn't ticking up. And then it got clarified that they are specifically needing to be used during an adversary chain. So if you used an extimulo and you didn't see it go up, it's probably because you didn't use it in an adversary chain. So back here on the overworld map, you can see I have nothing spawning around me right now. And I'll keep track of what's being produced from the tonic versus what's wild spawning, as well as what's produced from the edible dark mark versus do I happen to get an adversary popping up randomly. But we're going to start out with the dark mark. We're going to start out with the dark mark and go through that. Actually, you know what? I take it back. We're going to start out with tonic for trace detection and just see. Really, we're looking for leprechauns, obviously, and we're just going to see how many we can get from a tonic for trace detection. I think I'll pop up Ruffios during this too. I have 23 of them. Is this the best use of a Ruffios? No, but I'm going to have it anyway. We're going to get double experience for everything we do right now. So you can see Legends of Hogwarts is the first thing that got produced, not a leprechaun. A couple months ago I was looking for Hedwigs, and now one popped up right here. I don't need them anymore. I needed it to get that page prestige, but we're good to go now. Interesting enough, it is actually St. Patrick's Day today, so happy St. Patrick's Day if it's something you celebrate in any way. But so I was hoping we might see some more leprechauns today specifically. While waiting for more things to spawn, I did go over to Cauldrons, which if you actually back out, if you look, it's called Cauldrons now on this page. That was one of the changes, obviously just a name change. And then it says potions when you get to this page anyway. But I went ahead and put in 4 extimulos, and I entered the master notes for the first one. So I'll start chipping away at those 8 master notes. Just found a hag. I think she might have been hanging out from the last event, but got her. She just spawns from that tonic itself. All right, there we go. It looks like I have my first leprechaun, unless it's a pixie, but I'm assuming it's a leprechaun based on it being today and what's going on. Boom, there it is. So here's where, I've talked about this before, I always feel so bad because, you know, he does this, and then if I target him right now, I'm going to one-shot him. I am going to completely knock him out. So a lot of times I'll wait, I'll go ahead and defend myself, let him get one shot in, throw some dirt at me, and then I'll go ahead and finish him off. I actually critted him too. But I always feel bad just knocking him out right away. Unless I'm in a rush, then I'll just do it anyway. So anyway, there's one leprechaun. Out of the 20, I need to place the image, but also out of the 13 that I need. But I had placed the image previously going into this event because I actually had the image ready to place and I knew we were going to get some more. So far, only one leprechaun. Just had another foundable appear, Magical Games and Sports. Looks like Marcus Flint. So let's go ahead and speed this thing along. I'll go ahead and skip ahead. I'll show you a montage of all the leprechauns I get, and we'll meet on the other end of the tonic for trace detection and talk about how many I got. That was definitely surprising to me that I got 10. You can see I'm 10 out of 13, and nothing spawned at all. I think one Magical Games and Sports foundable spawned beyond the tonic for trace detection. Everything else that I got just a second ago, all 10 of those were all from the tonic itself. No adversaries appeared, though. So that was definitely more than I thought. I was thinking I might get 3, 4, maybe 5 if I was lucky, but to get 10, and honestly, it was very heavy on the back end, meaning when the tonic first started, I wasn't getting many. And right at the end, I actually got 3 within like the last 5 minutes, probably. Just boom, boom, booms. So surprising to say the least. One thing that has been happening though, I actually reset my game, I think 5 times, maybe even 6 times during that. One of the leprechauns, I knocked it out, it reappeared and was still dancing around with 0 hit points. I finally had to just, I couldn't get off the screen, so I finally had to force close the game and then reopen the game and then re-engage that same leprechaun, which, I was like, wait, is this the same one or a new one? But based on my counter, I could tell it was the same one, it just, I had never actually knocked it out. In addition to that, in a lull, I actually tried to go on the night bus 2 different times, and both times it gave me kind of a blank screen where it wasn't showing any of the chambers. And I had to force close again because of that. And because the night bus sometimes will get you in an endless restart loop, which has never personally happened to me, but I've heard other people it's definitely happened to. So I'm not even touching the night bus right now because I don't want the game to stop. Another problem I've had is the registry. I won't go into the registry right now either because Legends of Hogwarts has a rank up for me just randomly. I returned a couple Legends of Hogwarts foundables and it would go ahead and fill the bar up and give me that rank up, but it would then kind of just freeze before it could give me the trunk. And again, I had to force close. So that happened to me twice. It happened once, and then I restarted the game, and I went back in to see if it would work, and it just did the same exact thing. So I'm not touching the registry right now either. Which, all of these bugs, I'm looking on Discord, other people have complained about some other stuff happening with the game, similar to what I just said, game freezing, other things like that. So I am curious, will they extend this event at all? I don't know. So it does make me a little nervous to use this dark mark because I'm afraid I'm going to have some things appear, and if it happens to bug out in the middle of an adversary chain, a lot of times the adversary just disappears at that point, in which case I will kind of wasted an edible dark mark, but in the interest of showing you guys what I get from one edible dark mark, we're going to put it down. So I'm going to go ahead and use one. Yes. By the way, so there's 10 adversaries. I can go and close. There's 10 adversaries, which an edible dark mark is supposed to have an equal chance to produce any of them. Hey, one appeared. We'll get it in just a sec. 10% for any of them to appear. So Narcissa, I would have a 10% chance this is Narcissa. What has been put out by official sources is that it's supposed to be a 20% chance that an event adversary appears for you. That's what I've heard. That's what I've seen on Discord. So again, that's not huge. That means there's still a 4 out of 5 chance. There's still an 80% chance that this isn't what I'm looking for. And then an 80% chance of the next one and the 80% chance of the next one. Which, when all those odds being what they are, I would expect one of these to be Narcissa on average and then the other 2 to not be. And I really think they should probably up that rate, if not just outright give you the event adversary to encourage people to use dark marks. Because people, I guarantee, would use more edible dark marks if we knew we were going to get the event adversary when we did this. Because there's only 3. Anyway, let's click on it and see if we do get Narcissa. As you can see, my screen right now, this is what it looks like. This is what I've been running into today, and this is what worries me about using this edible dark mark and even doing this event the rest of today until they just figure some of this stuff out and then maybe try to finish it up tomorrow. Which is probably why when I finish this edible dark mark, I will be done, except for doing master notes. There doesn't seem to be any issues with that. Yep, so I'm actually going to force close. Oh, yep, it just returned me to the map. Let's go ahead and give it one more try. I'm going to click on it. If it freezes again, I'm going to close the game and reopen it and see what happens. As you can see, the screen is still freezing like it did before. So I am going to go ahead and force close this. And I just reopening the game now, and we'll see how long it takes to log in and whatnot. So, well, good thing is the adversary is still there. So let's go ahead and click on it and see if it lets me in. There we go. It did let me in. And even crazier, it is Narcissa. So either I'm incredibly lucky or they've upped the rate. It's hard to say, actually. It's hard to say if the first one it was going to be that for me anyway, or if they've actually upped the rate so that we do get more of her. So next up is the Dark Witch, which for a professor is what I'm not proficient against. It's the worst thing I can go up against, or things like this are the worst things I can go up against. It's just going to take me the longest. So I do need to use some extimulos anyway, and a lot of times I do for the Dark Witch, mainly because it just takes so long. It eats up a lot of my energy, and if I'm sitting at home, I have no way to replenish energy, so I'll end up using it. So for her, I'm probably going to end up using a strong extimulo just to use it. I had more regular extimulo potions, so I actually just used a regular extimulo. We'll see how that goes. As long as I get some crits in, it should be okay, and I should make it through her pretty quickly. All right, took her down. I ended up being a lot of non-critical hits. Luckily, when I was on the extimulo, I got crits during that. But if I don't get crits without a potion, it's definitely a back and forth where if she gets a couple hits in a row, she could actually get ahead of me and I would actually die to her. So for me, an extimulo almost becomes necessary unless I'm getting just good crits right off the bat. It eats up a lot of energy either way. So on to Narcissa. Let's see, she'll probably dodge me like 8 times now, but she usually doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and use a Witch Sharpening and a Potent against her though, because I really do like to knock her out quickly. Now we're definitely hoping for crits while we're on these potions itself. I've had a couple crits so far, so that's worked out well. Another crit. Yeah, once I get 3 crits in a row, that's really nice for that. And a second hit in a row, even good. And then, that wasn't a crit that time, and my Witch Sharpening is gone now, so I'm not going to do as much damage. Another non-crit there. So at this point in the battle, we're kind of going back and forth, and she's doing a decent amount. And she's actually got me lower than I have her. But because I don't want to use a lot of extimulos on something like this, I have so many healing potions, I'll just end up using a healing potion, which I probably am going to use one right now. I have 42 of them, mainly because I can just chuck that away, and it will cost me some more energy. I won't knock her out as quickly, but I just got a crit there. But I'd rather just use the healing potion to kind of finish out this battle, much like I do against the dragons as well. Hey, I dodged her. How do you like that? Nice, and a crit. So, apologies to my R's and my Magizoologist, but she actually didn't dodge me at all that whole battle. So I did get lucky there that none at all. Oh, nice. I'm going to get to place the Nature's Nobility, a Wizarding Genealogy. It's certainly the type of book a pureblood would have. So it's going to take us to that page. It didn't take us to that page. Interesting. So you can see I did just finish that out. I'm not going to even go, I do want to try to go over to the registry though. Here, let's go into the registry because I do need to go into that challenge page. I want to place that book before I get more fragments of it. But maybe you'll get to see what happens when I go to the registry. Let's let this finish out the defeat Narcissa. We'll go over there in a second. So let's hit the registry and watch what happens. Rank up. Oh, nice. It gave me the trunk. So it would have stopped right before the screen. That's what it had been doing to me. All right, so let's go over to Challenge Registry. I'm glad that this kind of has righted itself, currently at least, although I'm not going to push my luck. But I do want to place this 15 out of 15, and you really should place these images because you're going to get more fragments and they'll kind of go to waste. So let's go ahead and place that. A couple Defense Against Dark Arts books, and then a little bit of Challenge of Experience, which is, I don't think that Challenge Experience counts toward the chain. It's the chain and the challenges. Well, let's go over to the, my next adversary is up. But let's go over to the special assignments. Right here, it has 1,500 challenge experience through wizarding challenges and adversary chains. And I have 102. Placing an image gets you some challenge experience, but it's not specifically from one of those two things. So I don't think it counts toward that. Anyway, let's back out and let's see what our second one is. Could it be another Narcissa? If it is, I would almost have to think the rates have gone up. I think it's a Narcissa. Nice, another Narcissa. I'll take 2 for sure. As I hopefully finish her off right here. If it gives me an attack. Come on, I just need to hit her, that's all. Nice. You'll be surprised. I was surprised, maybe happy to know that as a professor, she did dodge me four times. That's the most I've ever heard her dodge me. 4 times. Only one of those was on the Potent and Witch Sharpening. The other 3 were just when I was at the end. I had used a healing potion. We were kind of just going back and forth. So she did dodge me 4 times though. One of them, she actually did 3 attacks on me in a row. Then I attacked her, she dodged me, and then her next go, she did 2 more attacks on me. It was right after I used the healing potion. It's like she wanted to knock me back down a little bit. But anyway, we did get some stuff, and actually it's nice. So you can see here, Nature's Nobility, a Wizarding Genealogy. I got 2 fragments during that chain, and that's the image I just placed, so they would have gone to waste. So backing out, oh look, an emergency level foundable. Oh, and again, here we are. Here we are. I clicked on it and it made that mistake. So now I'm going to have to reset the game. Back in the game, it was Grop. I went ahead and just returned him, and then my new adversary appeared. So I do want to hit that, and we'll see. Can we go 3 for 3 on Narcissa? If we, I almost feel like they've upped the rate already, just seeing the 2, and we'll see what happens here. It is another Narcissa. So they must have upped the rate. They must just be guaranteeing it now. I hadn't seen anything about it. Not that I've actively looked for it, but I think that's great if they have. So it just kicked me out of the battle. You can see right here, I'm back out on the main screen. It kicked me out of the battle. It's giving me things from that chain. The adversary has disappeared. So it would appear that my fear of what would happen happened in that in the middle of an adversary chain, it kicked me out. See, connection lost, return to map. So let's go ahead and close the game and restart and see if the adversary appears again. It took me a couple of attempts, but I am logged back in finally. It was just really bugging out on me. It was just stalling essentially, so I would just close it and try again. So I am back in the game, but you can see the adversary has not reappeared. So let's go ahead and assess where we are. So 1 tonic filtration got me 10 leprechauns, among other foundables of course, but for this event got me 10 leprechauns. I've used 6 extimulo potions. I did use some against the Dark Witch, and then of course I used the ones against Narcissa. I did manage to do 13,689 damage, even though I didn't make it through that 3rd chain. So it looks like if you make it through about 5 chains, you're getting very close to 25,000 if you haven't made it further. Narcissa 4 times. I made it 2 times, and I really should have made it a 3rd. So, Portkey Games, you owe me 1/3 of an edible dark mark. Actually, not even, because I made it through the first guy. You need to go a little bit further. And then recover 20 Narcissa fragments. I got 9, again, because I made it past the first 2, which was 8, and then I made it past the first guard of the 3rd Narcissa, if that makes sense. And then during the Dark Witch is when it bugged out, so that would be 9 fragments. So it did actually give me credit for that, which I guess, yay, but I didn't make it through the 3rd one. Before we forget, let's go ahead and try to claim our complimentary gift. This may be a little bit scary too. I'm not really sure. Let's see if it even lets me get into the store. There it is, Adversary Starter Kit. I think I can claim it, so let's go ahead and claim it. Yes, it did let me get it. So a couple healing potions, extimulo. That edible dark mark, that's the main reason you're going to want to remember to go over there. Free edible dark mark, you can always take it. It'll replace the one I just used, which is nice. So I still gain 1 at the end of this event if I finish everything. I went ahead and looked back over Discord over kind of yesterday and then into today. And especially today, other people are in the restart loop from the night bus, meaning they just can't get into the game. It just keeps restarting. Harry Potter Wizards Unite Lola has been like working on trying to get apparently some people fixed, and people are reporting their usernames to them and that kind of thing. In addition, it looks like there's kind of some general server issues, which does kind of mesh with what just happened with me, and you could see on some of my screenshots, as well as some other people saying they got kicked out during adversaries just like I did, and then it never reappeared, so they just kind of lost that adversary. Now, what I have seen is people reporting all sorts of different adversaries. For the edible dark mark, I hadn't seen anybody report what they're getting from it. Now, you just saw I got 3 Narcissas. Let me know in the comments, did you use an edible dark mark? Did you get all Narcissas? Was I just incredibly lucky, or is that something they're doing now? And again, I looked for any indicator from anyone saying that in the game news, from any of the official sources, and nobody said anything about the edible dark mark and that they changed anything about it. So let me know in the comments how it worked for you if you did use one. With all the issues going on, I definitely think I'll be staying out of the game for a little while until I know they've just stabilized things. I'll continue to do the master notes. I think those are working okay, and hopefully have them done by tomorrow. And then going into tomorrow, I'll kind of have all day to finish the event. Later tonight, I might do those night bus runs. If the night bus is actually working, I'll wait for confirmation on that on some of the official sources at least, or at least enough reports from people saying it's working fine for them. As always, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Nox.